Alright, so the purpose of the video is to show a little bit about rendering, and it has changed a little in this version of Revit. It's much faster except for the best quality, so this should not be a very long video. I think we'll be able to go through this pretty quickly. Just opening up the house now, and one of the tools that I need to show you is a different way to create a view, which is with a little camera icon instead of doing it with the 3D model. So I'm going to go to my ground floor plan once everything is loaded and take a look at this is what my house looks like. I'm going to try to create a rendering of the living room, which is right in here. And to do that, under the View tab, I click on the little arrow here. Normally 3D view is the default, but there's a couple others that I've not shown you yet. One of them is this camera, and it's this is what you would use to create a rendering. Basically, you're going to position the camera somewhere in your house and click, and then drag, and this is the direction of the picture. So once you have the camera kind of where you want it, I'm going to hit escape because that wasn't quite where I wanted it. Once you have the camera where you want it and you got what you would like to be in your field of view, so I click, drag, and then click one more time. It's going to take a picture of that room. And at this point I can drag these icons out, make it a little bit bigger or shorter depending on what you want to do. I actually want the arch in there from the room that I was in. So there we go. I can create a rendering of this room if I want by going up here, and in the View tab there are now options that are not grayed out. These were grayed out before, where I can render. And if I go to do that right now, there are more options that pop up. This is draft, medium, and high. This is new. All three of these will render in less than a minute. In the past, as you selected higher quality, it took significantly longer. I did do a rendering called best just a moment ago, and when I did that, you can see right here that after 8 minutes of waiting, it was only 33% done. So if you do select the best quality, it's probably going to be a 20 to 25 minute process depending on how much you're trying to render and what's in the picture. But I'm just going to hit render on this draft once and we'll watch what it does. It's going to take a few seconds to kind of look at the picture, and then it will create a rendering. And in this case it's really super dark because one of the features that I had set was sun only. This is one of the big mistakes, is people forget that they can do different lighting schemes. So you can do sun and artificial lights on the outside of the house, artificial only on the outside of the house. I can do what it would look like if I had only the sun shining through the windows. And since it's on draft, like I said, it goes quite quick. This is what my house would look like during the daytime with sun coming in through the windows. I find it best to do a rendering if I use the sun and artificial, but different people will have different preferences. I can hit render again, and it goes real quick. One of the things that you'll notice is this does not look significantly different than the one that I just did because I don't have any artificial lights in my house. So if I wanted to add some artificial lights, I'm going to close that for just one moment. Under Architecture, Component, Load in Family, we've done this before. You can go down to Lighting, and the best light that I have found for rendering is an internal light, and it is called the Studio Light. So I've now loaded the Studio Light into the program. I'm going to put that light, so there it is right there. By the way, I just clicked on Component to find it now that I've loaded it into the program. It wants to put it at the floor. If you notice, this says ground right here. Don't put it on the floor, that would look silly. I'm going to put it in at the roof level. And when I drop a studio light in, I'm going to get a warning or an error message that says that I won't be able to see it in this view, which is fine. I put 2 of them in now into that room. If I go back to the view of that room, by the way, when I took the camera picture, this is where it went. This is my normal 3D outside of my house, but I now have this. I can right click and rename it living room if I want to. So now I know what that view is. There it is, and I can see my lights. There they are. They're kind of hovering in the middle of the air, which is fine. You won't be able to see them once you do the rendering. And in this case, I'm going to go to view and render on that low quality one more time. And it should only take a second. And it looks a little bit better now with the studio lights in there. This is what the studio light looks like. It's kind of this spot. If I go to the medium quality draft, I can render again. The quality should get a little bit better. It's not done yet. And if I go to a high quality draft, like I said, all these were finishing in less than 30 seconds. But here's my medium quality. I think it looks actually great for a really fast rendering. You can do other things like put clouds in the sky and adjust the exposure on it a little bit. I'm going to go to the highest quality rendering, or not highest, but a high rendering, and hit it one more time. And again, you should see the difference in appearance. I did not think that this looked better than the medium when I did it just a minute ago. I'm going to hit pause and let this finish, and I'll come back in just 1 second. So to do the high quality rendering, you can see it's taking about 1 minute 23 seconds or so, and it'll be finished. Another big mistake people make when they render is they think that this picture is now saved in their project. It's not. You do have to click down here where it says Save to Project. I can name it. Since I already did a rendering that I saved to the project, it's naming this one Living Room 1, which is fine because I'm going to show you where they save them and the two that I did. So this is high quality, and if I go over here into the project browser, under renderings, you can expand that. This is the best quality. This is the one that took more than 20 minutes to do. This is high quality. One more time. This is the best quality, and this is high quality. I'm actually really disappointed in the high quality rendering. I think the medium quality looks better than the high quality. So you could probably render with medium quality for this project if you want to. There is another option that you can do. That option is when you're looking at the camera view to render in the cloud. The downside of that is you won't be able to save it to your project. You're just going to get a picture that you can save on the hard drive of your computer somewhere. You can print it, but you would never be able to put it on a sheet. So if you render in the cloud, the first thing that you're going to have to do is create an account. Since I already have an account, I'm going to sign into that, but I do need to look at my username and password, so I'll be back in just 1 second. And now that I'm signed in, it says, welcome to rendering in the cloud. Since my account's a teacher account, I have an unlimited number of renderings I can do this with. I'm not sure. You would have to check. I can't check for you. I think you get 15 for free, and that would be for the entire year. So you might want to be a little bit limited if you're going to do rendering in the cloud. I would save that for the final project or for the library. I would not do that with the house. And I already said medium quality renderings are going to be fine for the house anyways. So it gives you a little pop-up for what to do. I already have this view selected that I wanted, so I'm going to let it pull that into this view. It only took a second to get the image that it wanted, so I'm going to render the living room. There's actually a couple really cool things you can do when you render in the cloud, like the panorama. It's just really neat. You can do it if you want. Maybe I will just do that one. You can set the quality here. I always choose final if I'm going to be doing it in the cloud. And exposure, leave that at advanced, and I'm just going to hit render. It's going to send me an email when it's done. So I will just kind of wait for that email to come, and then I will show you what it looks like. By the way, the place I would go to find that, and the easiest way to get back to it, is to just start another rendering, a simple one or something. You'll notice that since I signed into Autodesk, I now have something going on up here. Just click on that and go to the rendering tab. And then you can see the ones. This one is currently doing its thing. We're waiting for it to finish. It did not send me an email yet. And apparently there's lots of new stuff here that I've not seen before as well. So one more time, I'm going to pause and come back once this rendering is done. So that took a while to render, and it is because I did the panoramic view. I can hold the mouse and kind of look in all directions now in my house. This is the direction to the master bedroom, and if I go around I can see my kitchens. Well, kitchen, I don't have two of them. This is a hallway down to a closet, a bedroom, and there's another bedroom over here that you can't quite see. And you can look up at the ceiling. I think I mentioned to somebody in the class that I did vaulted ceilings in this house. So you can look up and you can see the vaulted ceiling. It's part of why it took so long to for everything to render, was because of the panoramic. And there you go. By clicking on the small little arrow on the picture here, I can download it as just a regular picture for whatever I'm looking at. You can download it as panoramic, but it's going to be a downloaded picture. It can't be put into a sheet like I said before.